In this video tutorial, we're going to be covering a few specifics for the Easy Album Toolbox as it relates to working with CS2 and CS3. Now, the Easy Album Toolbox will work with CS2 and CS3. It's just the way we interact with it is a little bit different than if we're using CS4 and CS5. And specifically with CS2, there is one limitation in CS2 that just being as old a version as Photoshop as it is, that we can't do in the Easy Album Toolbox. So with that said, let's first of all cover installation. Alright, so we're just going to minimize Photoshop for a moment. You should have downloaded the Easy Album Toolbox, extracted the zip contents, and then on our desktop we have a folder here where we have the original setup file which we've already installed, and then to interact in Photoshop with the Easy Album Toolbox, we have a set of Photoshop actions that we have to load. And the easiest way to do that is simply double click on the action file here. Up will come Photoshop, and if we look at our actions palette, sure enough, let me just pull this over here. There is the Pixel Creator Pro Easy Album Toolbox right here inside CS2. And then if we expand this set of actions by clicking on this little tiny arrow, these are the functions within the Easy Album Toolbox. It's the same exact functions that you would have with CS4 and CS5. It's just instead of having a nice little tool palette where we click on a button, you're just going to play an action. So it's really easy. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new document and hit play. And up will come the new document tool. We'll hit a 10 by 20, like so. And then, of course, if we wanted to look at the Easy Album Preferences, you could just click on that, and that would open up the Easy Album Preferences. And then, of course, we have the Easy Place, the Prep for Print, and the Convert Layout tools. Now, you can watch the videos that are specific for CS4 and CS5 and see how all these things work, but we just wanted to cover the basics of working with CS2. Now, I told you there was one item. I'm just going to draw out a couple of shapes here. I'm going to select these two layers here in CS2 and choose the Convert Layout tool and just click on Process. And now this layout with those new shapes has been converted. That'll work with the Easy Place feature. And here's the one thing in CS2 that we can't do. When we go to place our images, I'm just going to choose Easy Place and hit the play button here. When we go to place our images, it's asking if we want to use Bridge to select an image. And unfortunately, because this is such an old version of Photoshop, it's been around forever. I mean, really, you're in the Photoshop Stone Ages, because now with CS5, I mean, this is a very old version of Photoshop. Adobe Bridge was the first version of Adobe Bridge back in CS2. And this Easy Place feature has really only been updated for CS3, CS4, and CS5. But we can still insert images, we just can't do it through Bridge. So you'll notice here on my desktop, I don't even have Adobe Bridge open. So that when we go to use Bridge to select an image, if I choose yes, then it'll allow me to select my image. I just browse to my folder and I can still select an image and drop it in there just like I could if I was using Adobe Bridge. I get a dialog box again, yes, to select a different image, and so forth. So you can see it does insert the images without any type of difficulty, no problem whatsoever. It's just you can't use Adobe Bridge to select your images. So not a big deal, but it is one limitation that you have here in CS2. The other limitation that you have with the Easy Place function, let me go ahead and hit play again. You'll see it here, is we don't have the ability to skip an image opening here in CS2. Whereas in CS3, CS4, and CS5, this skip feature is functional. If we choose skip, you see what happens? We lose all of our image openings. So we don't want to do that. And again, that's just a little Photoshop CS2 quirk because of the age that it is. Let's go ahead and reconvert this. The other thing that is a little bit different with the Easy Place in CS2 is if I hit play again, we have the option to yes, insert images, no, or skip or delete. If I choose the delete option, it will delete that image opening, but then it stops, and I would have to hit play again to actually populate the remaining one. So that's the only slight difference. Again, not that big of a deal, but just kind of keep those points in mind. If you're using CS2, you won't be able to insert images via bridge. You won't be able to skip an image. And if you choose the delete option, it will delete it, but it won't continue on with the processing of that template. You would have to hit the easy place function again. One last thing, this is for both CS2 and CS3, is one advantage that you have in working with these actions instead of a tool palette is that we can assign a keyboard shortcut. So for example, here with the Create New Document tool, if I click over here on the right hand side where there's no text, I get this dialog box that appears where I can actually define a function key. So let's just choose F2, and then for easy place, let's choose F3, and then maybe the prep for print, we'll do F4, and the convert layout, we'll just choose F5. Okay, so pretty F2, F3, F4, and F5. So if I want to create a new document, instead of having my actions palette open, I can just kind of set it to the side over here. I don't even have to interact with my actions palette. In fact, I could close it all together if I wanted to. And I just simply hit F2, and up would come my dialog box. I just hit F2, and up comes the Create New Document, right? And then I could just draw out a couple of image openings here. I'd have to select those two image openings, right? Because I need to convert them. And remember, convert is F5, process. And then F3 is to populate via easy place. So in some respects, it's actually a little bit easier because we could just memorize our keyboard shortcuts and be able to call up those commands whenever we want to. So it's pretty slick. It's just a little bit different way of working. It's certainly still very functional. So just keep those points in mind if we're using CS2. On that easy place, we can't choose the skip option. Doesn't work. We cannot insert images via bridge, but we can still insert our images, just not through bridge. And then finally, if we choose the delete option, it will delete the image opening, but then we'll have to hit play again to continue on with that easy place function. And then also keep in mind that we can assign a keyboard shortcut to each of the 6 functions within easy place, and we never even have to use our actions palette at all. We just remember the appropriate keyboard shortcut. That's it. So I hope you enjoy the Easy Album Toolbox. Definitely look at the other video tutorials on the Easy Album Toolbox. Even though it's shown with CS4 and CS5, it'll still follow along here in CS2 and CS3. So take a look at those other videos, and thanks for watching.